Hello and welcome! Lynx here, we are playing Chronotopia second skin. Every time I want to say donkey skin. I don't know why. I don't know, like, I feel like donkey skin rolls off the tongue easier than second skin for some reason. Anyway, yes, second skin, Chronotopia, another day on the farm. Let's see where this is going. It was haymaking season, and the family had yet to reap the meadows. Flu felt that they had to make good use of Kionna's presence and that her protege was finally ready to tackle that noble task. We'll see about that. Thus, the two maidens headed for the fallow parcel the next day with a sight. Let's go. I've never used a sight, to be fair. An activity which proved to be quite hard. Careful! No. Careful! Fuck. Careful! What were you doing? What were you going? The poor princess was gesticulating wildly with her sight in hopes of cutting the grass, but her movements were so clumsy that it made her presence more dangerous than useful. If you're not more careful, you're going to injure yourself, donkey skin! Or me for that matter. I totally changed her voice again. Ah! I should record like this entire game in one go, to be honest. I feel like each time Floor's voice changes, which is a problem. I know, I kind of like forget what it sounded like before. Anywho. I don't want to be decapitated because of an impulsive swing. Sorry, Flo, but I'm really doing the best I can. You're aiming too high. Your sight should be at the ground level in order to cut the grass properly. I mean, yeah. I'm not expert, but I would imagine you want to cut as low as possible, right? Okay. The farmer rolled her eyes upon seeing her comrade still struggling. Put some effort into it. That's just the beginning, donkey skin. Heaven help me. Don't count on the heavens. They are busy. Watching cricket games still. I don't know why it's cricket. The first time Kionna asked for the gods' help, I said cricket, so we'll continue with that. Reaping begins. English, Francois. Oh, I can't save the game now. Okay, I can do. I can't even roll back. Oh boy. Okay. Whew. You think I can do that in that time? Of course I can. Come on. Look at that. Oh! Okay, come on, I'm counting down! I did not expect a second round. What the heck? I wish I had a mouse with possibility to lock the clicking. I would reap this in an instant then. Oh, I freaked up one there. End of the reaping. Well done! You have cut 79 blades of grass. I don't think that's a good result. What? I would say normally you would try that amount in one swing. But whatever. Despite her lack of experience, Kionna tried her hardest and the two girls eventually managed to reap their parcel after several hours. Let's go! No sooner had the last bit of grass been cut than Flew threw her comrade a pitchfork. Come on! We have to spread the grass so that it can dry roughly tomorrow now. Is it really necessary? Of course it wouldn't be. Hey, otherwise. Besides, it's dangerous to store grass that is still damp. It could rot and catch fire. Really? I was not joking when I said it was an important step. Achievement unlock. Woos of a farmer. Help with a farm work. Yeah. I totally need more of that. Now I feel like playing some farming game. What the heck? It took Flo and Kionna 2 solid days to reap the entire field. Gather haystacks and make them dry under a scorching sun. Oh, donkey. Donkey informed of its existence. But when they resorted to Donkey's help to pull pallets of the precious fodder and store it in the granary, the princess was very proud of the work accomplished. She felt she had grown. Great job! Thanks to our labor, we'll have enough hay. And now she sounds like she used to, like in the previous episodes. We'll have enough hay to feed the cattle during the winter. I kinda need a little moment to get into it. Kionna patted the old donkey, exhausted but happy. Donkeys are great. Donkey, donkey, donkey. Donkeys are great. However, Flo had planned a new wedding activity for the next day, preparing the sheep to be shorn. Oh no. Dude, in the past it must have been a pain. Yeah, it's being said now. Like, maybe it's not being said, but you know, they are doing all this work and you think, wow, back in the day, it would take forever. Now it's basically so automated. It's nuts. To that end, they had to lead the flock to the stream, force the animals to dip in the shallow water one by one, then rub their fleece to get rid of any impurity. This excursion had the merit of being refreshing. Those sheep are completely illogical, Flo. They resist as they are afraid of water. Yet once they are in it, they seem to enjoy the bathing. I mean, it is a case for animals in general, I think. I mean, I don't know. I'm speaking now in the perspective of seeing how my dog reacts. Getting to the bathtub to wash him, a pain. Okay, he doesn't like it. But like walking out in rain, or I don't know, getting into some freaking puddle or basically into water, no problem. It's hilarious. But yeah. Don't try to understand, eh? As long as they don't try to kick you with her hooves. Sheep kick? I don't know. Once they had washed all the sheep like that, the two girls left them to dry for the night and only began the shearing proper the day after. I'm going to need your donkey skin and to cut the wool with those shears, but I absolutely mustn't hurt the sheep. You'll have to hold it as long as possible when I'm shearing it, alright? But they're far too heavy for me. Block it with your arm. Everything's going to be alright. Somehow the princess managed to hold the sheep back when her comrade was coarsely cutting their wool. With, what, scissors? I would assume. Once this was done, Huguette brought them some tar she had heated so that they could bandage the sheep's wounds. Wounds? It was after all difficult not to scrape them with shears that sharp. Oh, it's shears, okay. Kionna's progress was quite satisfying, which led Flo to entrust her with more responsibilities. Thus, she was one day tasked with driving the animals to pasture on her own while the farmers would be busy in the fields. The princess did not hide her nervousness after living in the same house for some time. She did not want to disappoint them. This was a trial and she was determined to prove her worth. I mean, you've done that not alone, so she'll be fine. She was smacking with the stick, right? Doable. So she guided her flock with the utmost care, never letting it out of her sight. Yet it was impossible to maintain constant vigilance. What do you mean? Helped by fatigue, she let her attention slip at the last moment, when she was opening the pen to bring the geese back. In a few seconds, one of the foal changed its mind and abruptly turned around. In a swift wing beat, it hopped a few meters behind Kionna. Distraught, the princess hurried to close the pen to avoid a second breakout. She chased after the bear, but was already moving farther and farther away towards the forest. She had to face reality. It would be impossible to capture the goose without an accomplice, and Flu had warned her against the foal's craftiness. She did not know what to do anymore. She was too ashamed to confess she had failed due to her carelessness, but she could not hide the truth from the farmers for too long either. I mean, with that expression, even if you tried to hide it, you would not succeed. Panicked, she dashed through the fields and shouted, "Flu, where are you, Flu?" The young farmer did not take long hearing her cries and immediately suspected her protégé had made a blunder. "What is it, donkey skin?" "Flu, this is terrible. I was bringing the geese back to their pen when one of them seized the opportunity to escape. Oh, for crying out loud, scatterbrain, which way did it go?" "It is heading for the woods." "Ah, great, that's all I needed." I bet it happened to her before as well. Livid Flo dropped what she was doing and rushed in pursuit of the prankster. The princess noticed the farmers disapprovingly glaring at her and sought forgiveness by taking the young girl's place. A few minutes later, Flo showed up. She had managed to retrieve the goose at the cost of great effort, but not seem especially happy. She was still shooting dirty looks as she placed herself in front of Kionna with an accusing posture. "I believed in you! I entrusted you with your mission because I thought you'd be able to fulfill it, and you let an animal escape. I'm very sorry." The young farmer's tone became ice cold, and she only reprimanded her more harshly. "Being sorry doesn't cut it. You must be more careful or our pittance goes out the window. A single mistake can cost us our lives. Are you aware of that?" Tears were forming in Kionna's eyes as her voice cracked. "Really? You would cry from that?" Contradictory emotions swirled in her head, reducing what was left of her goodwill to ashes. Then again, I guess she was never scolded in her life. Yeah. Oh boy. "I'm genuinely sorry. I really wanted to do my best." A hiccup stopped her in mid-sentence and the princess flopped on the grass in tears. Realizing she had gone too far, Flora's expression changed. She bent down and dried Kionna's tears, saddened. "Don't cry, donkey skin. It's okay, everything went back to normal in the end." "But I still failed." "That's how you learn. Your mistakes makes you stronger." "That is not true." The young farmer dragged her comrade away and the two girls sat down the hill, facing the sunset. I mean, it's one goose, right? Still, obviously, it would be a huge loss for the place, but at the same time, I don't know how many others you have. Like, you know, the others you've managed to get to the place, so I don't know, don't beat yourself around that much. Then farmer dragged, and I read this already. "I didn't think you would take it so badly. It's just that I really want to help useful to you. Even if I have not known you for a long time, I would like to help." "And why is that? We are only strangers after all." "It could be that I'm a little bit envious." Surprised, Flo pressed her more for more details. "I don't understand." "Despite hardships, I do see that you always rely on each other. They can trust each other. I would have loved to belong to a family like yours." "Are you an orphan?" "Not quite. My mother is dead and my father has gone crazy." "Crazy? What do you mean?" "He's never been able to come to terms with my mother's death and has refused to marry again. And after years of neglect, he came to me to ask for my hand." Fleur stopped for an instant and opened her eyes wide, astounded. "For real?" "I would have preferred to lie. This is why I fled, in the hope of starting a new life." "Oh, I didn't think you'd have such a complicated history. In that case, we're not going to abandon you, okay? Even if you're not the sharpest tool in the shed, I'm sure that we can make something for you. I mean, of you." The princess replied with a sad smile which broke little Flora's heart. On the spur of the moment, she took the young Moor in her arms. Although Kionna had said too much, words had naturally poured in, and talking about it was just what she needed. Her comrade seemed to perfectly understand her circumstances. She felt lighter, as if she had been freed from an enormous burden. As for the teenager, could only sympathize. Donkey Skin's odd behavior finally found an explanation in her eyes. She had to be the daughter of a wealthy farmer, or a wealthy merchant, who, because of his madness, had kept her ignorant of the working of the world all those years. Even though she envied her carefreeness, she genuinely admired the bravery Kionna had demonstrated in escaping from such a prison. That night, Flo took it upon herself to talk to her parents so that they would be more sympathetic to the princess.
I was able to talk with the Donkey Skin, and she has her reasons. I think we can forgive her. Are you sure, Fla? She's quite harmless, but she's always so clumsy.
We won't be able to keep her if she doesn't learn to be a little more resourceful.
She will get better, promise.
Are you taking responsibility for her behavior? I know what she told you, but if you're convinced, then we trust your judgment, Flo. So that girl is the image of a double stand around it outside her palace.
I thought so too, but from what she said, I'm now convinced otherwise.
Oh, really?
She was looked up by her very own father, who had become mad and escaped at the risk of her life. I don't think Noble would have the guts.
Little did you know about nobles.
I see. She remains a rather spoiled person, but willing to be more understanding.
If she has the circumstances, I'll do the same.
The same night, Flo was looking at Kionna more kindly. The two girls had only been around each other for a short time, but at the very moment, a bond was forged between them, like the vague feeling that they could mutually trust each other. The birth of a friendship!
Or maybe something more.
No. Let's not get stupid ideas. As the days passed, Kionna was fitting into her adoptive family better and better. Since that night when she had confessed her misfortunes, little Flo appeared a lot more protective towards her and their friendship was all the more stronger. Anselmi and Huguette had kept their promise to and made sure to properly explain anything to the new recruit, guide her as best as they could. I mean, to be fair, that should be always the case. No matter the job or whatever. You should explain stuff in a way that you would try to explain it to like a freaking 10-year-old. Let's face it, that's the best approach. Step by step. Everything in detail. Even for farmers, living conditions were always precarious. Never had the princess felt so fulfilled. For the very first time in her life, she felt that she belonged to a group, that she was surrounded by benevolent faces, that she was useful. Her integration in the community reached a new turning point, and as Midsummer's Eve drew near. It was a great summer festival during which all the farmers in the vicinity gathered for the evening. Naturally, Flora's family was invited as well, and putting Kionna aside was out of the question. Each invited farm was involved in the preparations, therefore one of the geese was slaughtered for the occasion. I bet it was the one that ran away. And Huguette went to the site in order to help prepare the meal. As she had never left her castle, the princess was especially excited to discover a typical peasant fare. She would not be disappointed. Dude, I bet it would be super fun. Now that I think about it, there are some recreations of the festivals from like Middle Ages and so on, and later. Should go to one. The night of Midsummer's Eve, a huge bonfire had been erected in the middle of a field. Yeah? Kionna was dumbstruck upon discovering the sight of a reddish embers blown away to the jet black vault. She enjoyed the fest, for she had not eaten meat for so long. She enjoyed the magical atmosphere, which adorned this moment even more. I bet that goose tasted good. It's my revenge, is what she's thinking. A group of farmers were playing lively music while others were happily dancing around the fire. Laughter and singing filled the air. The young Moor felt so comfortable that she momentarily forgot her status. That night she was not a princess anymore, only Kionna. When she was lost in thought, a girl turned to her and asked if she wished to join them and dance. As she had lost sight of Flo since the beginning of the night, she considered there would be no harm in enjoying the festivity by herself. She accepted on impulse and let herself be led by the frantic rhythm. Gradually she dropped all hesitation and had so much fun that the youngest farmers around began applauding her performance. Short of breath, she tried to take a break, however girls and boys instantly rushed to her side to ask where she came from. She couldn't sleep right that she was only a poor unfortunate in exile who was helping her old Aunt Zelmi. They thought she was quite brave despite her prim manner of speaking, and she was quickly welcomed in a group of young farmers who were bantering and exchanging the latest gossip. The night was truly magical, for the princess had never imagined she could get along with farmers her age, and she was already lamenting how rapidly time went by. She was enjoying dancing and laughing so much that she wished it would never end. Nahima would have been proud of me, she thought almost unconsciously. The recollection of her confidant agitated Kionna's mind, and she immediately looked for a remote place to breathe. As she was getting closer to the woods to taste a few seconds of respite, the young Moor noticed Flo in the company of young men. From afar she could not make out what they were saying, but the gestures spoke for themselves. In fact, the boy she did not know brushed the teenager's hair before gently grasping her hand.
Ooh, romance is in the air!
Astounded, Kionna's mouth fell wide open when she realized he surely had to be a suitor. Flew in love. This possibility never crossed her mind. The princess tried to walk away as she did not want to seem polite or give her friend the impression that she was spying on her. But she did not have time to step back before the scene took an unexpected turn. Flo refused the young man's hand and timely pushed him away. From her spot, Kionna could not miss the boy's distraught face crumpling while the adolescent shook her head negatively, as she was trying to make him understand that it was impossible. With a genuinely hurt expression, he turned around and vanished into the crowd. At the exact moment Flo entered the forest, and the young Moor was torn by the thought of leaving her alone. However, I'm a crazy person. Let's just follow. Driven by an impetus she could not quite explain, she had to follow her. Fortunately, the farmer did not go too deep in the woods, and Kionna very easily came upon her. Flo was sitting on a tree trunk, holding quiet, just like that, like that day at the graveyard. That facial expression is killing me.
Flo, are you alright? I saw you leave and I thought...
The princess stopped in her tracks. What could she possibly say? Words were bustling around in her head, and she did not know which ones to pick. Kionna stood there, powerless.
It's kind of you to worry about me, donkey skin. But I'm alright. I just need some time to think.
Would you like me to leave?
No, you can stay. To tell you the truth, you couldn't come at a better time. I think I need some company.
Okay. The princess silently sat next to her.
Sometimes feel like I have too many responsibilities to shoulder. I can't help myself to be selfish when my family needs me.
It's because of your family that you rejected his advances.
So you saw everything from this thought?
Kionna instinctively put a hand over her mouth, but it was now too late for her to feign ignorance. Curiously, Flo did not seem particularly offended.
It's nothing, eh? To be honest, I mostly turning down because I don't feel ready for marriage yet. I'm way too young for that.
You are correct about that.
I'd like to wait at least 2 more years. That way I'll be around your age.
Yeah, you'd be 16, which is still too young. The princess's cheeks flushed when she heard she was held up as a model.
On a serious note, I don't think the time is right. It is customary for the bride to join her spouse's family. In my case, it would mean leaving my parents to their own devices.
Huh.
My father's getting old and he's still suffering from his injury. I don't think he would manage without me.
It is cute to see you worry about him. Flo blushed.
Not at all. It's just that it wouldn't objectively benefit my father if I live.
You could put your needs before his own.
I could, but that's not me. Even if we don't always get along, we are family, and it's my duty to keep supporting my parents. The wedding will come afterwards.
You are so mature for someone your age. Oh boy. That's something you don't actually want to hear when you are young. Because I do believe that later it kind of holds you back. I think that was my case. I would say I was more mature than the others, and I did not get more mature over time. Something like that. I don't know. Whatever.
I believe I just don't have a choice, you know. My family counts on me. I can't abandon them. That's exactly what I said earlier. There's too much responsibility for a single person. At times I catch myself dreaming about being able to simply by myself, live without constraints.
I kind of understand that. Well, the young... No. I'm not that. Yeah. I mean, first of all, I'm not in her... I was never in her situation, so yeah. But... when I think sacrificing completely my own self for the sake of family... Nah. For someone I would choose to be with, yes. But, yeah, not like that option, I'm afraid. It's selfish, I know, but... yeah. While the young girl was gazing at the stars sighing, Kionna could not repress the certain softness and patted Flo on the head. Eager to help her friend, she straight away imagined giving her a purse full of gold coins, or a position at the castle once she would have regained her status as a princess. Where do you regain it for? It was too very seriously that she asked,
What would you do if someone told you that you would not have to worry about your family anymore? I think I would switch places with you, Donkey Skin.
What do you mean?
If I was free, it would be so much easier. I could travel and see the world. I would go seek my fortune elsewhere just like you did. It'd be wonderful. But deep down I know this will only remain a sweet unattainable dream.
Why's that?
There's always a cage somewhere. No matter what you do, no matter where you go, you cannot escape it.
Moved by Flo's nobility of heart, Kionna mentally vowed she would not forget about her once she would return to power. Well, you better.
It's freezing in the shade. What about going back to the fire?
Dude, if there is a good ending, they better get back to Flo. I want to know. Now. If she will remember, and what she will do. The princess nodded, and the two girls returned to the festivity hand in hand. The bonfire was still burning with enduring fervor.
Come to think of it, you may not know the bonfire's meaning, Donkey Skin.
Indeed. I suppose there is a symbolic aspect to it.
Summer is the most difficult period of the year for farmers. Insects can contaminate us with all sorts of diseases, and passing travelers can plunder our resources. That's why we usually light this large fire in order to protect us from the threats to come.
Let us hope that this protection will work then. Yeah. If threats might have still seemed distant, time flew so fast that it was already harvest time, the culmination of a year of work for farmers. Naturally, Kionna was requisitioned to lend her adoptive family a helping hand. Under the scorching sun, she had to cut stalks of cereals with a sickle. Oh no. Oh no. Is it the same as before? Okay. Previously I did what, 79, I think? Oh, for heaven's sake, on the third round. Oh, it's cutting like that. It's a double cut, okay. Now that I think about it, I don't see Streamlabs right now. I mean, obviously I don't want to pay attention to it. I wonder if you can see the mouse cursor, which is literally a sickle. Did I beat the It's important question. Did I beat the previous result? 121 of wet. Let's go.
I feel like I'm on fire. I know it's a rough donkey skin, but we must do it.
That's not what I meant.
Picture this way. This is what you're going to eat for the next 12 months.
Despite Floor's encouragements, the day proved to be exhausting for everyone, and was far from over. Once the wet was cut, they still need to assemble it in small bundles and ranch it so that the drains could dry. Only at twilight did the family invoke the old donkey Kadishon in order to carry all those bundles wet to the barn. Breathless, the prince also kept stocking the harvested crop.
Say, Flo, why is there a bed of furzes between the wet and the floor? This is so that the wet doesn't get damp. We have to preserve it throughout the year, after all. Besides, furzes prickles prevent rats and mice from nibbling the grains.
Kionna did not even have the strength left to marvel, as usually, which were the young girl.
Is something wrong with Donkey Skin?
I'm drained, I feel faint. It's been a long day.
Think that we're almost done. You can go rest if you can't do anymore.
Really?
I'm telling ya.
I can't resist such a fare. Thank you very much, Flo. I shall go to bed at once.
Thus, the princess went to sleep early, while the farmers were finishing stocking the wet. Consequently, she could not at a crucial moment. The harvest results.
What? I want to know!
Our harvests are much poorer than in the previous year. That's what I fear. The weather has not been very kind lately. How are we going to feed ourselves with salt wet? Famine awaits us.
Especially as we now have one more mouth to feed.
Flo stepped in a straight way, ready to defend her friend.
Wait, Kionna is not at fault here. She's helping us a lot.
Of course. We're not questioning her goodwill, but you will have to admit that it's going to be quite difficult to feed 4 people with such a poor harvest.
Contradicting Anselmi was impossible. Despite her affection for the young Moor, Flo could not ignore that it was going to cause a huge problem very soon. Even so, she tried to gain some time.
You're right, but it's still a bit early to decide. Let's wait for the threshing, okay? It will give us more faithful review of the sale for harvest.
The farmer sounded nodded with a concerned face. The future was looking uncertain. I mean, you could always try hunting, or just saying. Or get better at fishing, as we know he's not very good at this. Kionna continued to act, as usual, ignorant of the turmoil plaguing her adoptive family. At first, Flo liked her carefreeness, as she saw that as a way to forget the dreadful Damocles sword constantly hanging over her, until a certain incident. Oh no, something happened again? One morning, the two maidens were going to the well when they noticed a gathering a few steps from the shack. It was a procession of horse riders who were clearly about to go hunting.
Who are these people?
Flo furrowed her brow.
It's Prince Grisel's escort.
Prince Griseld.
Well, yeah, you didn't expect him to stay locked up his castle at all the times, did ya? I think that is the man leading the procession, the one in the brown steed.
The young one stopped for a moment to look at the sovereign. He was young, valiant prince who seemed affable, and good looking. Kionna could guess from his precise and dexterous movements that he excelled at war. What? Tapped. You only had to look at the way he was petting the Hulk nestled on his arm to realize the degree of refinement involved. Could be that he excelled in fine arts as well. This was all it took to make him amply gifted by nature, and the princess fell in love with Prince Grizel straight away. What? No! I don't agree to that! In her eyes, the stranger was the embodiment of the brave clichés, the courtly knight whose adventures she had read so many times.
Where is that all coming from? Oh, he's the lord of these lands then.
While looking at the procession going past her, Kionna could not help imagining herself trotting alongside the prince like a great lady.
Ha!
In her head, the young man was entirely devoted to her, on the lookout for her every desire, willing to please her. They were laughing together as he stroked her cheek.
Stop!
Lost in her glory, in the ideal chivalry from the old times, she only felt the hand on her shoulder at the last moment and jumped.
What's the matter all of a sudden? Are you sick, donkey skin?
Flo had retraced her steps upon seeing her friends, rooted to the spot in the middle of the fields. Ashamed, the princess did not want to admit the secret liking she had for the prince.
Everything's fine. I was simply watching the horse riders passing by. Do you not find them imposing? You shouldn't look the same when you perch on a horse. But that's no reason to neglect feeding the cattle. Hurry up, the water is now going to draw itself.
Kionna followed her comrade, after glancing at the sovereign one last time. In her heart, she only wanted one thing, to be able to officially meet him. What?
Yada yada. Right, it's the first time you see the prince. You should get used to it, he's off in the area.
Really? I suppose that he's a great hunter?
It's his passion, or so they say. Hardly a day goes by without him riding horse and roaming the kingdom, followed by his pack of hounds. Which is not a good sign for the crop, if you ask me.
How so?
I've heard farmers complain that the king's dogs had trampled on their fields before. It just goes to show that it's important to be meticulous when you're planting the hedge. If it's too low, hounds can jump over it.
I'm sure he must apologize for this unfortunate incident. Someone laugh, please. Not a chance. The young farmer rolled her eyes with an express look that Kionna was unable to understand. After a few minutes of heavy silence, Fleur mumbled.
You shouldn't trust a noble. These people are fickle. They're capable of good as well as bad. Do you even know what they put us through?
I don't understand what you mean. Lords protect you, do they not? No.
But at what cost? They can force us to use the oven. The mill and the press he has built. Yet you have to pay a fee to use those. When you go to the mill to grind your cereals, the Lord recovers part of the flour. When you go to the oven to bake your round loaves, the Lord retains a few of them for his personal use. When you go to the press to turn apples into juice, the Lord deducts some of his wine for his wine cellar. That way the royal family can enjoy the free food for all the year. These facilities should belong to the community and benefit everyone. But no, we have to make sacrifices when you could grind the grain ourselves with a millstone, bake the bread in our own shack, and press the wine ourselves with a small personal press. Don't you find it unfair?
Faced with her friend's anger, Kionna could only clumsily trip over her words.
It seems like a fairly reasonable deal to me. The Lord protects peasants with his army, and peasants thank him for his services by providing for his needs.
Bull. Let's face it, they don't care about protecting the peasants. Let's face it, that's a fact. That's a fact. Flo let out a loud sigh.
Don't take it the wrong way, but you're really naive, donkey skin. It's the Lord himself who provokes the wars with neighboring kingdoms, and there are frivolous reasons as that, and good people are always the ones who suffer from it.
So true.
You have to pay him annual dues in exchange for his worthless protection as well. That's not all, because on top of those obligations, he also imposes statute labor on us.
Statute labor?
The king owns lands, and farmers under his authority must work there for free throughout the year. Besides, statute labor takes priority over everything else.
I don't know. I never saw any of you go there.
We're really struggling so much to tend to our own farm because of my father's wound that it's impossible for us to go. We've made a temporary agreement with a neighbor. One of his sons works for the king on our behalf, and in appreciation we complete various tasks for him. I will have to volunteer soon to carry out our family's labor in his place.
I see.
I'm not sure I truly understand. Nobles are above the law. They do as they please. To them, farmers are mere ants to be squashed without an ounce of guilt.
That's true. Kionna did not know what to say to soothe the bitterness in the young girl's heart. She couldn't refute such arguments, absolutely legitimate, one said it, but she could not disavow all the principles she had been taught since her earliest childhood either. Yeah. To her it was normal that nobles would enjoy certain privileges and she didn't believe things could be any different, despite the fact that, you know, the said nobles don't deserve that. No.
But it's always been that way. Why would it change?
Why would you say something like that?
See, people don't even call these privileges in question anymore. They simply do as they are told. That's why I hate nobles.
Yeah. A deep unease took hold of the princess. She had been living with Flo for several months now, and she had convinced herself that the young farmer liked her, that they were good friends. This certainty had suddenly been shattered. Kionna tried to convince herself that her comrade would change her mind if she was told her true identity, that the young girl would smile again and understand that not all nobles are bad persons. But it was nothing more than a wish. Would she really embrace her point of view? Or on the contrary, would she come to hate her? Dude, Kionna, you can take over the world, the kingdom, and make like the life for peasants easier now that you learn the truth. Anyway, slowly, painfully, Kionna realized that who she thought was her friend could turn against her at any moment. I mean, it could be the other way around as well, to be fair. You could turn on her, because she's not a noble herself. You know. Should she confess and expose herself to her wrath? Or should she keep concealing herself at the risk of making the situation worse? The prince was torn between conflicting ideas and didn't know what to do. In a complete disarray, she chose to hide her concern and withdrew into total silence. While flashing a hollow smile, she saw Flo's icy tone as a death sentence. The death of their friendship. Why would you say that? Achievement unlocked! Friendship in danger, have an argument. The rest of the day progressed almost normally. The two girls went about their everyday activities and nothing could have given away their argument, if not the distance they were instinctively keeping between each other. Still overwhelmed, Kionna took advantage of a moment to rest, to sneak in the forest and meditate.
I have lost my way. Living with this family has been so hectic and full of surprises that I ended up forgetting who I truly was. Come now, Kionna girl. What are you even doing? You are not a peasant. You deserve better than being a more peasant.
Wow, if someone heard you right now, you have a problem. She then remembered the hazel rod her grandmother had thrust to her, pulled it from her pocket and sharply hit the ground. The magic chest appeared moments after. After starting station, she anxiously opened it. She had been hiding away in the countryside for months, and the prestige of a life of luxury had gradually faded until it became a distant memory. Gone were the times when she was walking around her room while wearing pretty clothes. Kionna clumsily felt the fabric. The softness of silk was nostalgic. Seriously, you put it on? Feverishly, she put on the red dress, her favorite. Destination was there different, much more velvet-like than the rough and dirty donkey skin. Right, donkey skin. It was at the very last moment that she realized she had not had any chance to look at herself in the mirror since her arrival at the farm. She glanced around the bokages before stopping in front of a water puddle. Speechless, she admired how much different she looked in sumptuous clothes, and this was only her common dress. The very idea of wearing the magical outfits given her by her father seemed vertiginous. I would say it was not a good idea to switch clothes now, but whatever. Also, I said before, that hairstyle, it's not winning. It's not winning. With triumphant smile, she changed her reflection.
I'm back. The true Kionna is back.
Is she, Fo? No, truly Princess Kionna could not let herself be softened by this new everyday life. This peasant family was admittedly nice, but she had no plan to live with them forever. She had better things to do. Dude. I feel like in the very end, it will turn out that she'll forget about Flo. Right? Which is sad. But also, I guess not surprising for a noble. But well, maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out eventually. A distinguished lady such as her deserved a life worth her status, to become a queen and live in a castle surrounded by retailers. Wow. Dude, you would think being in this, you know, with this family and so on, would teach her a little bit about life, but no. It seems like she's becoming worse now. Mere peasants like them were unable to grasp the complexity of governing, and they had to remain vassals under the protection of a lord for that same reason.
Dude, what the hell? Now she makes me wants to get her a bad ending. Not gonna lie.
With thinking like that, totally give me a bad ending for her right here, right now. And let me continue with Flo, so we can maybe manage a good ending for her. That's right. Flo X Medea ending. That's what I need. These unsophisticated individuals could only blame their own lack of capacities, likely the cause of their poverty. What? Okay, this is literally the thinking of the rich, once again. It's like, I mean, to be fair, even in the 21st century. That's the thinking of the rich.
Oh, you're a poor? Then just get rich.
The most ridiculous thing. They needed to be governed by nobles in order to survive and should show a little more gratitude. You'd be surprised how much easier it would be for them to survive without the nobles. Of course, Flo's family was an exception. These good people had special circumstances, a streak of bad luck to which she would remedy as soon as she would reclaim the throne. Yeah. I don't know if I believe that. A purse full of gold coins should be enough to solve their issues. And then Flo would finally admit that nobles could also be generous, that she was mistaken about them, and deeply grateful she would thank her benefactors with tears in her eyes. Wanna bet she wouldn't? I bet she wouldn't. I would not even be surprised if she like threw those coins back into her face. Kionna could not help but smirk arrogantly, estimating that everyone would benefit from her rise to power. Doubt. All that remains is to carry out this plan. What plan? Once Kionna had considered that her exile the farm was solely a temporary and rather entertaining excursion among the lower class, she should focus on her main objective, meeting Prince Griselda and convince him to marry her. Nah. Since she had kept a low profile this time, it was the ideal moment to finally attempt to approach him without running the risk of alerting her father's messengers. However, there was still a missing link in that great sequence of events, a solution to contact Griselda without arousing the suspicion of the peasant family, nor the squires who did not fail to escort their lord. Her top priority was now to tackle that delicate issue to finally be able to fulfill her destiny as a queen. God damn it. She's thinking so highly of herself, it's ridiculous. Drawing illusions of grandeur, Kionna had slipped away without thinking about Flo, who was looking after the animals just a stone's throw away. Yet by an ominous coincidence, the latter also happened to be daydreaming about her better life. The young farmer did not have the same claims, but she was not blind to the shadow of poverty looming over her family leader. Her father's wound would take time to heal, which put Huguette and her daughter in a difficult position. It was impossible to tend to their own farm with so few of them, and it was impossible for the whole family to work in another farm because that would be too many mouths to feed. And now that Donkey's King had joined them, there was no way they would abandon her. They consequently had no way out. Yeah, it seems that way. Meanwhile, the said donkey skin absolutely would not have a problem of abandoning those. I bet it would be that case. The prospect of a new famine terrorized Flo. Was she going to lose another member of the family just like she had lost Pauline? Or was she going to die herself, collapsing under the burden of her responsibilities? In the worst case scenario, the three of them would die of starvation and cold. In the best case scenario, only one of her parents would die of exhaustion and malnutrition. And then what? All that remained would be for Flo to wander along the roads with the surviving one and beg for food in the city streets. That thought was simply unbearable to her. Deep down, the young girl knew full well that saving her family was not her responsibility, but keeping still while waiting for the unavoidable to happen appeared even more painful. Yeah. Dude, I mean... I don't know, I mean, when we progress more and more, it's like... Dude, I wish it was Flo who was the main character. That is when Flo had an idea, a crazy one. On occasion, Donkey Skin had told her that her heart's nobility was remarkable and that she had certain qualities that were expected of a great lady. Becoming a princess was not her only chance. Once she would be wealthy, she could find a position at the castle for her parents, and they would never have to fear privation again. She had no feeling for Lord Griseld, but she was confident enough in her management capacities to see herself governing if given the opportunity. Wait, what? Chronotopia. I need to read this again. Huh. Oh boy. Rumor had it that the prince still had to find a suitable wife and that no noble woman had managed to catch his heart yet. Yeah? Yet dude, maybe he's not a bad guy. To such an extent that he was planning to organize a great ball. She would need to sleep inside the palace and... No, all of this was much too absurd. She had to find a way to approach him first. Although she had no concrete plan to achieve this incongruous idea yet, Flo was willing to do anything to protect her family from ruin. Social climbing was her only salvation. She had to marry the prince. Good luck, girl. I'm gonna be rooting for you. I'm totally rooting for Flo here. Imperceptibly, the relationship between the two maidens had gone cold. They were simply too distracted by their own personal concerns to realize it yet. It only took a few weeks for a spark to arise. We are going long today. You know what? We are going to check out what's the spark about in the next episode. That's right. Let's end it here right now. It will continue tomorrow. I wonder, like, what they will fight for, or what will be the reason for their fight, basically. Super curious, super curious. However, that's it for today. We'll continue tomorrow, of course. As per always, link to the game description. You can go buy it yourself. And, you know, definitely speed up the process of going through the game. Sort of. If you enjoyed the video, you know, as per usual, consider liking, subscribing. Always appreciated. Super appreciated. And also... Actually, there is no also. That's honestly, actually... Oh. Someone bought Super Hot. Dude, that's an old game. Yeah, noticing that someone bought Super Hot on my friends list kind of distracted my thoughts now. So yeah, because of that, let's end it for today. We will continue tomorrow, of course. We'll see where this is all going. We'll see where this is all going. And we will see how things will go for Kionna and Flo. I honestly, like, literally fingers crossed for Flo. I know, I feel like she's the character that I'm rooting for more than our main character. Isn't it funny? It's kind of funny. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I'm rooting for Flo more. And if there is someone to be with the prince, I think it's better for Flo to be with the guy, as long as he's a good guy. That's right. With that message being said, let's end for today. We'll continue tomorrow, of course. Hope you'll have a wonderful day, and hope to see you there as well. Bye bye.